Okay, so basically, why am I uploading this now? On Friday the new episode's coming out, so I just want to make use of my time efficiently. I just want to put out something right now regarding my own predictions about what's going to happen before they actually turn true. Otherwise, they're not really predictions, are they? Basically, what I'm expecting is Mikasa to end up dead. Which sounds, on the surface, if you would tell it to anyone who read the manga, he'd think you are absolutely insane. And, that's perfectly reasonable. It's a pretty good assumption, generally speaking, that you would expect someone, that you would expect the ending of something that already concluded to be completely different. Yeah, that's a pretty bold claim. So what the hell am I saying? So, for a while, a lot of people have been talking about this, whether or not you know about it. But in Lost Girls, in the manga version, presumably also the novel version, it's very explicit about Eren killing Mikasa, right? And in that that story written by, I think, Hiroshi Seko, if I'm not mistaken, which is a scriptwriter for this part, and works closely with Isayama. Basically, Mikasa is symbolically linked to a butterfly, right? And in the latest opening, the Rumbling opening, she literally shows up dead as a butterfly. A lot of people have been saying, okay, it's just a butterfly that's crushed. It could literally be anyone. It could be just, Hanj. It could be Ramsey. Some people have been saying that. Well, the fact is, The Lost Girls is very specific with this. It's Mikasa. And the main argument against this was that Lost Girls just wasn't canon because Isayama wasn't directly involved. We don't know his actual level of involvement. So, to just outright ignore it, despite the fact it got an anime adaptation in an OVA, that's pretty a rushed way of thinking of things. But, that's understandable. Except, this past few days, the Under the Tree song, the theme song for this new episode, just got leaked. 2 minutes of the song got leaked. And if you have a look at the lyrics, they straight up mention butterfly and a red scarf, in conjunction, in the same line, basically giving the idea that Mikasa is linked to the butterfly a lot of credibility. And even if you look at the album cover itself of the song, it's just ridiculous. She's straight up dead there. I know some people are not seeing it, but she's dead. She's just straight up dead. You can even tell from the shadows that her body casts and the scarf casts that she's laying on the ground with her mouth wide open, eyes open, and it looks like there's blood gushing out of the bottom of the album cover. She's even holding herself, like she's like holding on to her guts, like they're spilling out or something. It's just crazy. I honestly, when I saw the cover, I just could not believe my eyes. Like, how would they even put this out so blatantly? And people are saying, like, she's standing up. She's not standing up. That's not her, like, holding out her hand into the sky. That's her literally just laying on the floor, flat on her back. She's dead. She's straight up dead, which is so insane to say. And we've actually known it for a while. Even before the Rumbling opening came out with that final frame of the butterfly, Lost Girls has always suggested that. And I'm glad that we're actually, getting that verified by the song lyrics. Also Link Horizon also did it a while ago. They had their own album cover with butterflies on it. It's just crazy. I don't even know what to say. So, as for that prediction, Mikasa is just straight up dead. That is my prediction. That is my main prediction. That's not my only prediction. That's my main prediction. Second prediction. Falco's memories are gonna come into play. If you remember at the start of the time skip, Season 4, Falco gets a vision of flying around with ODM gear, basically. Flying around and killing Titans, which is ODM gear. Some people are saying it's an Easter egg or it's some kind of ironic commentary on the fact that the setting changed completely. And I guess it partially is an ironic joke. At the same time, it's a vision in a show about people getting memories from the future or the past. If you remember at the end of one of the episodes in Season 3, the second part of Season 3, Kruger gets a vision of a memory of Eren, of Mikasa and Armin. He literally just gets a memory from the future right there. And that's not a f***ing Easter egg. Not to mention the manga, it's not even structured in a way that would suggest it being an Easter egg. The vision is still there. We don't know what it is in the manga. It's just he gets a sort of confusion, basically. And that's fleshed out in the show. And if you remember, that's an anime-only, or rather, an anime original edition by Isayama's personal request. Which, begs the question, why the hell would he even do that? So there's my, in conclusion, he gets a memory vision, presumably from a bird, which, sounds insane if you haven't read 139, but Eren does actually have the ability to control birds. We know that pretty clearly now, as funny as it sounds. And he can transmit memories, because he literally did that with Armin in order to have the paths talk, the talk they had happened before the rumbling ending and Eren dying. And the scene at which he gets the talk is when he sees the bird at the boat. But it's not only until later that he remembers those memories, once everything's done. So he basically literally gets a vision or a talk with Eren with a bird, which confirms it completely, right? Birds are a method of transmitting a message. Whether there be memories of the past, future, who even knows? But, Falco got memories from Eren, presumably manga timeline Eren, or manga world Eren. I'm just going to go into that later, but I don't believe exactly in the timeline thing. But basically, Falco's memories are going to have a huge role in AOE. And the memories that he got are, they're going to play a role. I wish I knew which role. If I knew, I'd just be Isayama. I'd just be making a ton of money off the manga sales. But I have no clue. I could guess, but honestly, it'd be huge levels of speculation. I don't know, maybe Falco gets those memories to Mikasa somehow. Maybe Falco does something on Eren's behalf unknowingly. Maybe he gets those memories to Eren, which is pretty likely. Maybe, who knows? You can guess. The point is that it's in there. It's definitely weird. As for my third prediction, I think that the world of Attack on Titan does not work with multiple timelines or even multiple worlds. Exactly. In a way, yes, but not exactly. I feel like what's going on is that there's a sort of world cycle, right? So humanity is basically wiped out, however that happens, and people get reincarnated, and the same events play out, but with small iterative changes over time, right? So these changes build up over the course of many world resets, eventually leading to this anime timeline. I just call it timeline for convenience sake, honestly, but that's the point. There's no multiple timelines. It's just one long timeline, so basically, the manga events, it's not that they take place in a different timeline, they just take place in the past. Even the cabin timeline, what people call this alternate world, it's actually just further back in the past than even the manga one. And that's part of the theory that the Ackermans have some sort of weird ability to tap into past versions of themselves. So they have like some sort of awareness of that. And you can even see it in some parts of, it's actually, there's probably 2 specific cases I can recall now. So at the episode Midnight Sun, Levi keeps the syringe. I think it's that episode. Levi keeps the syringe to revive Armin. Instead of using it on Armin immediately, he basically keeps it for longer and hesitates for no apparent reason, because at that point everyone thought everyone was dead. And even Aaron mentions how weird it is that he'd know to keep it, despite the fact he didn't know he was alive. And there's a second instance of weird Ackerman predictive powers, of Mikasa predicting an explosion taking place, which is the explosion that kills Sackley. She reacts to the explosion before it even happens. Like, how do you even do that? And, my speculation of that is that she already experienced that event, and she basically knows it's going to happen. So she gets sort of like a deja vu thing, an intuition that she's in danger. And you can tell because I think, if I'm not wrong, she gets a headache at that scene. And the headaches are those instances of tapping into previous versions of yourself. That's, it's a really big thing I'm pretty sure of. Which plays into another thing I believe, which is that the ending of the show, or the ending of Attack on Titan as a whole, this is very important, right? As a whole, as in the entirety of the story, is going to be reality itself. Because if we believe that the world loops like this, which is, indicated also by the tree and the extra pages, which is the same as Ymir's tree, sort of like indicating the fact that the same events are going to play out again. If you think about it, if you remove the element that makes the world of Attack on Titan diverge from our own, then the next time the cycle repeats, it's just going to be reality itself. And what does that look like? Well, maybe it looks a lot like school casts, which sounds absolutely insane, but, even in the panels themselves, Armin, Eren, and Mikasa recognize that they themselves existed 100 years ago. And even Ymir shows up reincarnated in one of the panels, which is also crazy. So, I just leave you on those 3 things. Well, really, I guess it's 4 things, right? So, Falco's memories are going to be relevant. Mikasa is straight up going to die. The world is looping and is going to lead into reality itself. And the Ackermans have a weird ability to tap into previous versions of themselves. Okay, so that's basically my set of things, my set of predictions. I hope that they turn out to be accurate. I feel like the Mikasa dying one is pretty damn clear at this point. If you are not sure about that, I highly suggest you watch Lost Girls and you read the manga version. There's also a novel version, which I have not been able to find, but I'm sure it's even more outrageously suspicious. There's no other word for it. It's just suspicious. It's weird. Think about it yourself. Make your own conclusions. Reach your own predictions. No one's going to be 100% accurate. Pretty sure about the AOE thing happening. But, I'm not Isayama. I could be wrong. I highly doubt it at this point. But it's definitely going to be interesting either way. It's definitely going to be hilarious, even if the manga gets adapted. So I'll be looking forward to it regardless. But it's definitely going to be interesting if AOE happens. It's just going to be absolutely insane. Because people just don't think about this a lot. There's, the AOE community is fairly small. Even if the sound director literally brought it up on stage, I feel like most people are just not going to be ready for what's going to happen. And there's going to be a lot of very strong reactions, positive and negative ones. People are going to be really happy. They're going to be thinking it's a legendary show for pulling something like that. And then there's going to be people that are going to be absolutely mad at the fact that Mikasa is just going to get absolutely trampled and killed, which is, I guess understandable if you, just believed that the manga ending was the only one. You'd just be completely in for a shock. So, bye. See what happens.